I've got a friend in El Salvador called Ernesto that owns a group of farms. One of his most amazing farms is Los Brumas, which is in the Santa Ana area, and we're going to be having a Kenyan from him, an SL28 varietal. So let's get going. So Ernesto, as I said, is a long-standing friend. The first time I bought coffee from Ernesto was 2008 from another farm that he owns called Alaska. And I bought that in Cup of Excellence. Didn't know the guy, was like, just liked his coffee. But in 2009, I thought, I should go to El Salvador. So I got on an aeroplane, went to El Salvador, and I went to the Cup of Excellence Awards. And this guy came running up to me and was like, Steve! And I'm like, hello? And I didn't know anybody in El Salvador. Well, knew very few people in El Salvador at this time. And this face I definitely didn't know. But it was actually Ernesto. And in his hand, he'd got this rather large trophy. And I was like, oh, what's that? He says, oh, I've just won the Cup of Excellence with another one of his farms that we buy from now as well, La Lujon. With the money that he got from not just that Cup of Excellence, he's won other Cup of Excellences as well. He used that money to buy another farm called Las Brumas. Now, Las Brumas is the biggest of the farms. It has a whole heap of natural forest on the Santa Ana volcano. When you get to the top of the farm, you can actually see boats on the sea, yet you're at around about 16 to 1800 metres above sea level. And it is a picture-perfect laid-out farm. He has Pacamaras, he has Geisha, he has Bourbon, but what he also has is SL28, and that's what this week's coffee is. SL28, a varietal originally from Kenya, devised by Scottish Labs, which is a old colonial laboratory that would slice and graft and cross-graft different coffees. And because of our terrible colonial history, we made these plants to put into Kenya to sell coffee. Now, the reason it was picked was that this was going to grow really well in the soils of Kenya, and for no other reason. It was going to give high yields and be really productive. One of the side effects of it is actually one of the tastiest varietals that you can find for my palate. It's right up there with Bourbon, Geisha, SL28 are probably my three favourite varietals. You also have SL34, although this is not an SL34, and there are some other variations. They are just different ones that they've tried that they end up picking out as the better ones. Brumas has got this hidden cave at the top of the farm as well. It's got natural coffee growing in the forest there. It's just a wonderland for really interesting and amazing coffees. Speaking of a wonderland, let's delve into Roland's mind for this week's Daft Fact of the Week. We catch Roland resting and relaxing. Let's go and disturb him for a Daft Fact. Hello, Roland. Are you resting?
I am, Steve. Thank you.
Do you have a fact for us?
I do. Did you know that the SL28 was created by Scott Lab and that the original buildings that formed Scott Lab were constructed in 1913 as a sanatorium?
I did know that because I've told you about it before, but thank you, Roland. Okay, so we're back, and yes, before we get into the coffee, we should talk about our Instagram winner of the week. I should give this section a little name or something. It's, but yeah, anyway, this week's comes from Rise and Shine Coffee, and I particularly like this one as it's them watching the video of me giving them love from a few weeks ago. So it's just like Instagramming in my mug and in my mug. So more love coming your way. So let's get into this coffee that I am super excited to be tasting. Always good to have Los Brumas on the site and always good to have the SL28. So let's dive in. So the first thing that I really noticed about this coffee, and this is very common with the SL28 varietal, but also with coffees from El Salvador, is a lot of orange. So orange zest, orange acidity, kind of fresh and juicy. A little bit of red apple as well, and you kind of almost get that like skinny apple skin kind of flavour to it as well. But on saying that, it's still really sweet, so that typical El Salvador milk chocolate note coming through as well. Really tasty. And really good coffee. Thank you to Rise and Shine Coffee. Thank you to you watching at home. And please do remember, life is too short for bad coffee. You've been watching in my mug for your packs now. Good, 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 good.